I'm April Hall, the SRC Summit. I'm here at the beautiful 4-star Embassy Suites in Denton, Texas, where the 2023 SRC Summit will take place. So great thing about SRC Summit is I always like to do stuff that nobody else is doing. And essentially what we've done is created a brand new industry that nobody else is doing. We'll be talking about at SRC Summit. So it's going to be new, it's going to be fresh, and people are going to be excited about it. There's actually only 4 4-star hotels that are Embassy Suites in the United States, and this is one of them. So the amenities are fabulous. Anybody who stays here gets an amazing breakfast. I got a great room rate at only $149 per night. The rooms are fantastic. The space is absolutely beautiful. So attendees can stay in their room. They walk straight down into the conference center, and it's all in one. There's several thousand square feet of space for the main conference room, and then we have other rooms that are broken up for the vendors and also for the breakouts, which we'll be holding on the 1st. After the first day of the main event, we have a fun networking mixer at Andy B's, which is next door, so we've rented out the entire space, so it's going to be a lot of fun to meet new people and establish those business relationships. So if you want to set yourself apart and increase your profits, make sure to grab your tickets now. It's January 29th to 31st with breakouts only on February 1st. So I look forward to seeing you there.
Look, what's the name of our company?
Simple Solar.
Yeah, that's it.
What's the name of my podcast?
Be authentic or get the fuck out.
Like, have you ever met a girl that paid for coke?
Yeah. Oh
no, neither have I.
Do you ever hear about those like behavioral modification programs where they ship you off to live in the woods and they come take you in your sleep and?
No.
Well,
Tony Soprano owns a trash company.
And so I never.
Yeah.
If you can't be authentic, get the fuck down if you can't be authentic.
Hello.
We're live. I got Lexi in the background hitting buttons and shit. So I think we're live. April, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Hey, everybody. Eric Obremt, host of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out, checking in for our live. We haven't done a live in a little while. I have been traveling all over for the last couple of months, and I've got about another month and a half of this shit left. And then I'll be able to spend a little bit of time at home, hopefully. But I got to get back in the rhythm. I love doing these lives. I love having people on. And talking about stuff and getting to know people a little bit better. And April and I talked a little bit about what we're going to go over today. But for everybody tuning in right now, the purpose of today is twofold. And I kind of gave April a little bit of a teaser of it, but today is twofold. And we want to talk about SRC Summit. We want to talk about the history of the SRC Summit. And I want everybody out there to get to know April a little bit better, because you're out there and you've had this conference forever, but I don't know if people really know April. And I've been very fortunate that I've gotten to spend some time with you, have dinner, talk, chat, hang out and get to know you a little bit better. But I want people to get to know you a little bit better as well. So April, thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. This is always fun.
Absolutely. So are you in Dallas right now?
Yeah.
Are you?
Dallas, Frisco.
Gotcha. And is that where you live?
I'm in Frisco. Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool. So I'm a Texan now.
I know. Welcome to Texas. Isn't it great?
Yes. I'm trying to figure out, I got to go get my first hunting license tomorrow so I can go hang out with Carver up in some little shithole town just west of Dallas.
Now you're a real Texan.
I still don't own a pair of boots though. So I might, that's my next purchase.
Like or something you need to get next.
I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's yelling at me and saying that I can be deported if I don't buy, if I don't buy boots. So anyway, so we've got SRC Summit coming up January. Tell me the dates again. 29th
through the 1st. It's a little bit different though. 29th for most people, it's actually like a travel day. Okay. We're not even opening really up until like 2:30, and it's for vendors. And then it's followed by a welcome mix. So the only thing that's happening earlier that day is the women's networking lunch at 12:15. But most people are kind of like traveling and getting there. The main event's the 30th to 31st main stage, where you'll be speaking on the industry expert panel. All those main stage speakers, the keynotes and panels. And then February 1st is implementation day. So it's a day for breakouts and workshops to really just hone in on skills. And I got really great reviews this year when I dedicated one day to do that. And so that's what we're doing for the first.
I love that. So on that day, is it tied still to like the floor? Is like the floor still going to be open, or what does that look like?
No, it'll be different rooms. Yeah.
It's just learning.
Breakout rooms.
It is learning on the first.
Yeah, that's why it's implementation day. I mean, you really can hone in on your skills and, take the knowledge and go back and start using it right away.
I love that. So one of the things that I do want to bring up really quick for people tuning in is, there's a ton of events out there. There's a ton of conferences. And I just want to say personally, for me, one of the reasons that I am so pro SRC and pro April is because of your support for us and Roofers in Recovery. And I think that, this is something that I preach with like even my salespeople, right? When we're out when people are out in the field and you're trying to figure out what makes you different, right? Like everybody's putting on the same fucking roof. Everybody's, you know what I mean? Everybody's got the same pitch, but it's like, what makes you different? And what I preach to my guys is what's the D&M difference is we give back. We care about our community. We care about our industry. We care about, giving back and helping people. And that's something that drew me to you is that you care and you help and you want to give back to the industry as well. And your support of Roofers in Recovery has been phenomenal. And I wanted to thank you for that. And I wanted people out there that are watching to know that you support that and you support that in the industry, and you're giving us opportunities to sell tickets and raise money and do a lot of things that is super beneficial, again, not only to us and to our nonprofit, but to the industry as a whole. And I think that people watching, if you're picking events to go to, you need to go to events where people are supporting the people in the industry. So I guess tell me a little bit about why that's important to you. Other than I'm awesome, other than the fact that like Paul, awesome. Other than the fact that Paul and I are super fun and cool to hang around with.
You guys are really cool to hang out with. I love what you're doing. It's making a huge difference in our industry. It's something, that, people struggle with and, kind of had a name of that in the industry. So you guys stepped in, you saw the need and you're filling it. And so I'm 100% behind that and I'll support it any way I can. So I
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
When I started this industry, I noticed different things. I was like, really why I want to start. And I started with sales training back in the day, 2011, right?
Okay.
And it was really to share how to do the industry the right way, because as training as I knew it, and it actually still is somewhat today, if you don't, apply yourself and go to different trainings, is, hey, go ride in the car with Bob or Joe for a couple of days. And now you're qualified to be a roofing salesperson, right? And so really back in the day, 2011, we were like, we need an insurance restoration sales training program. So my ex-business partner, I actually opened it up here in Dallas, and we started doing that like smaller trainings. And I was like, oh, okay, Dallas, lots of roofer here, so that'll be my target market, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong, but in a good way, because I noticed there's a huge need. So people started flying in from other states like 4 months later. And so I just really saw a bigger need. I was talking with contractors on a daily basis, and they were telling me their pain points and the things that they struggled with. So I helped create the overhead and profit seminar, and that's really helped a lot of contractors succeed and get overhead and profit, the majority of the time. And then back in 2013, I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so many things I get bombarded on a daily basis of like, hey, what do you know about this or commercial, just anything and everything. So I was like, gosh, you know what? There is no conference for the storm restoration industry, like nothing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to create a conference, right? And it was back in 2013, started out as a day conference, and then it moved to like 2 or 3 days, and it grew and grew and grew. But I really did it as a necessary, like a need, like, hey, contractors want to know more information. The industry has changed. And my gosh, it has changed night and day since then. If you started, I learned how to measure a roof when there was no eagle view.
Right.
So
I laugh because I think I'm the only person in my company that could actually go up with a tape measure and measure a fucking roof.
Yeah, I know. If you get somebody to do that, they're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I just pull an eagle view, a roofer,
yeah. How do I get the area of a triangle? I don't understand how to do that. Yeah.
So the industry's gotten much better. And with social media and with other people doing events too, we've been able to come together and really help each other, because it didn't used to be like that back in the day. Like when we started doing sales trainings, we literally have contractors sit with their arms crossed like this and be really certain, and they wouldn't open up. I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of rigid. How do we get them to open up?
Right.
So once we started sharing and they started sharing and had like some other networking things event planned within that event, contractors realized, oh my gosh, we can actually help each other.
Right.
And so it's kind of like the magic happens, right? So that's what I love doing is I love bringing the industry together for learning, networking, of course, some fun, but you really learn from other contractors and attendees as well, in addition to the speakers.
Yeah. As long as you come into the event with that open mindset
Yes.
that you are there to learn and that
Mhm.
you're there to meet people, right? Because like you said, the networking side of this event, because some of the biggest names in the industry are going to be there, not only speaking, but walking the floor and hanging out, where you can literally walk up, shake their hands, introduce yourself, and maybe if you're not creepy, make a new friend. Right. Like, I mean, just be honest, but like that opportunity is there for everybody. And that opportunity doesn't present itself that often, right? So you have to take advantage of those opportunities. Let's talk a little bit about some of the speakers that you have coming, because you have done a really great job this year about bringing in people that aren't at all these other conferences. So I'd like you to highlight a couple of the ones that you're most excited about.
Well, outside of the industry, I know that we kind of talked a little bit about Ron White. He's my keynote, and I wanted to bring somebody in, not just like the hype of, like, I call it the jacuzzi experience. Like, you get somebody in who's a well-known speaker, they hype you up and you're like all warm and fuzzy. But as soon as like you get out of jacuzzi, you're cold again. I didn't want just like a hype. I wanted some actionable knowledge and stuff that you could take back and use right away. So he teaches you how to memorize stuff, how to memorize names and faces. What better way to learn that is at a conference, right? You meet people, but it's a lot more than that. It's really helping your business, memorizing certain things, maybe from, people that you want to make customers, presentation skills, certain things that you can implement right away. And he does a good job with that.
Yeah. That's awesome. And what's your new panel that you're talking about? I know that you were very excited about. Tell me about that, because I'll be honest, I don't know shit about it either.
Well, most contractors really don't. So really we're focusing on some smoke claims, smoke from fire. So even all like the fire restoration contractors that I know, they run directly to the structures, right? And so we don't even handle that, right? So we've been doing some smoke claims a lot in Colorado from the Marshall fire that happened just over a year ago now.
Yep.
And it's really for the smoke that travels. So we have something that's absolutely just crazy insane, like how great it works. But so David Carlson, he's the co-founder of Eagle View. Him, a few other people in the industry, we've been working together on these smoke claims. Now, he's super intelligent. Obviously, he created Eagle View, right? Well, he's come up with patented technology for smoke maps. So we can see where the smoke travels. So, your hail maps, everybody's familiar with hail maps. So we have smoke maps. And I'm telling you, it's actually like fascinating how far smoke travels through these fires. So for instance, like the Marshall fire, that was 115 mile per hour wind. Okay. We have structures that all the ash, the soot and the smoke gets sucked into these structures, whether it's residential or commercial, and it comes into your house. And what it does, it's actually very bad for you to breathe. It's a health hazard. It causes all sorts of things. A lot of times it's very small and you don't even know how much of it's there. But what we've done is use science and technology, and we can see where it travels, where it gets into structures, but, we use licensed hygienists that go in and take different tests and send it to a third-party lab. It comes back with a test, right? So our slogan is, we don't guess, we test. And when it comes back in a certain levels of ash, soot, and smoke, other combustion byproducts, it's a huge health concern. So now that is, it's an insurance claim. So what we do is help restore homes and businesses back to pre-smoke condition. And it's crazy that nobody's doing this.
Pre-smoke condition.
Yeah, pre-smoke
I
condition.
like that. I could have said that about my old house when I used to still drink. That fucker was real smoky inside. I wonder if I could have filed a claim on pre-smoke condition.
So we've been educating a lot of people, and we're gonna open this up at SRC to really show you how dangerous it is from these different fires and what the health risks are, and really our protocols and how we do it, et cetera. So it's something new. You hear about fire restoration, smoke, but nobody has patented maps, right? So you can chase it all day, but if you're wrong, you're going to pay for all those lab tests. So we'll show you how to do it the right way. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, that's really cool because I mean, there's no one talking about that, right?
No,
And
and I mean, it's crazy. Eric, there's like 4.2 million structures over the last 10 years that actually have like smoke in there. And over the last couple of years, it just keeps increasing. So when you look at that and you look how much hail there is, this is way bigger than hail.
Right. Are guys going out and knocking doors for this?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, there's lots of different ways.
Yeah, I'm just curious because people watching are going to want to know like the granular shit on it, right? Other than just so you can make a bunch of money. Like I'd be curious as a business owner, like literally how are people getting these claims then, right? Like how are they actually going in? Are they literally knocking doors and being like, hey, you probably got smoke issues, like your house isn't burnt down, so you're living in it. Like, is that kind of the client that people are looking at?
I mean, that's how we started. It was through education and, you know, there's a few different ways. We're going to share more about that, the details of it at SRC.
Yeah.
But you really, because people haven't heard about it, you have to educate the homeowner. You got to educate all the policyholders on it and show them. And then when you show a lab report, you're like, well, it's actually here. You can't mess with science. And that's the thing with adjusters, right? You know, you look at a roof. Was it hail? Is it not hail? It's subjective, right? With this, it's not. And, you know, the margin on them are just so much bigger than any hail.
That's awesome.
So it's exciting. It's something to add to what you're already doing, especially if you have to wait for a hailstorm. I mean, there could be a fire, there could be structural damage from like something that set ablaze and it, you know, the wind traveled. So our smoke have to pull that up and show it. So it's really cool technology.
Yeah. So I know that one of the things, John Cenac and I, who's going to be the MC of the show, who great choice. I love John.
He's awesome.
He is. I shouldn't have said that publicly though. But I love John, but we had a really good conversation we're talking about the panel that you asked me to be on the industry expert panel. And I'm really excited to do that panel again because I started looking at the names that are on it. And, you know, the people that are coming to get an opportunity to learn from the people on that panel that have made every mistake that you can make in business, right? Because the only way that we learn is from the mistakes that either we make or other people make to be able to maybe avoid those, you know, those pitfalls. And the lineup that you got is in the lineup. I always say,
you know what, you will learn equally. Like you should learn what not to do as equally as you should learn what to do. It can save you millions of dollars over the lifetime of your career. Yeah,
because by learning what not to do, you learn what to do.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's how it works. Like I have fucked up everything at one point in my life, right? Like personally and business wise, right? Like I've made every single mistake, but the reason that I'm still standing is because I learned from those mistakes, right? And the people that come to this conference and come to this show and get to see these different panels from these people that have been around long enough to make some of these mistakes so that you can learn from them and be like, oh shit, I was going to do that. You know, maybe I should rethink that. I think that's the power of what you said in the beginning of bringing all these people together, right? Bringing the industry together and realizing we're not competition. We're here to help each other and we're here to make a difference. And so I applaud you for that. You've done a really good job putting together these groups and putting together these panels.
And I love the speakers. You know, every speaker there has had great levels of success and they're there to give back. And that just shows you the type of people that they are and the companies that they run. So I love working with everybody and being able to bring them together to just really help this industry be better and have a great level of success.
100%. So I want April to give everybody one fun fact that most people don't know about her.
A fun fact.
Fun fact that nobody knows about April. Well, maybe somebody knows, but like most people watching don't know.
A fun fact. I think most people know that I grew up like in the construction industry, building homes.
What's your favorite hobby? What's your favorite hobby? What do you love to do when you're not talking about roofing?
If I can get to the beach and just chill at the beach, I love to do that.
That's right. Oh, and you almost got stranded in Cayman right after me a couple of years ago during COVID.
We had to leave. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. It was right when COVID hit, and they were so strict.
Yeah, because we left like 3 days before you got there or something.
That was so peaceful. That was probably the best beach experience I've ever had.
Yep. We're going back in a month or two. So it's we love that. We love that place. So April and the beach.
April and the beach, yes.
April and the beach.
Beach over mountains any day.
I agree. Like mountains are pretty, but I will take water and a beach every single day of the week.
Well, because you've dealt with Nebraska for so long, right?
Well, there's no fucking mountains there. That's just some flat ass awful garbage.
Well, it's cold.
It's cold and it's
fun.
awful. Yes, exactly.
I lived in Minnesota for a few years. I said no, never again.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay, so let's rehash one more time on SRC. So 19th is Get Their Day,
29th.
and 29th is Get Their Day and Women's Mixer. Is that what you said?
So women's networking lunch starts at 12:15.
Okay.
Vendors 2:30. We have a welcome mixer. The
Got
30th, 31st is the main stage event. Now I have networking events planned every night. So the 30th, I run at a facility right next door. It's walking distance. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Vendors, attendees are gonna be there. Food, drinks, networking. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Awesome. The 31st, I wanted to do something new this year. And so I love to laugh. I love comedy, right? I guess maybe a fun fact would be is like, I can laugh at myself and I'm kind of goofy. So I wanted to do a comedy night.
Nice.
So on the 31st, it's comedy night. I'm bringing in Reno Collier from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Yeah.
He opened for like Larry the Cable Guy, did all the tours and stuff. So he'll be doing that. What John Scenic and I are doing is getting a few people who actually want to go up and open with stand-up like 2 to 5 minutes.
Yes.
He
dared me to do that.
You should do it.
It's really funny because like I study and watch comedians just to like give you a little bit of insight, because like what they do is such a talent. Like it is such a talent because it's not just being funny, right? It's like structuring jokes and like knowing the pauses.
The delivery, right? It's all about the delivery.
It's knowing how to deliver it. Like I can say this, like someone else can say the same funny thing and it's not funny at all. Right. And then somebody else says it and it's like, oh my God, that was hilarious. Like that was delivered brilliantly. But yeah, I'm deciding if I'm going to work up the courage to do that. Like I have no problem being on stage. I love speaking. But the fear of a dead silence after you try and land a joke is like, that is rough, right? Like I've worked in a couple of jokes into my keynotes that I've been doing these last couple of years. And every time I tell one, I'm like, please fucking laugh. Please laugh.
Please.
Like seriously, like I will take a pity laugh. Like I'm fine with a pity laugh. Don't let me stand up there and not say anything. Okay, so we've got speakers for 2 days, which is awesome, and then we got the last day, which is all the breakouts, and everybody gets to learn. So I love that. All right, what else would you like to leave everybody with here today? What do you want to make sure that everybody remembers, everybody knows about what's going on, or what?
Well, I wanted to mention one other panel really quick. So
yes, please.
Steve Badger's been asking to speak at my events for a long time. I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing. I just don't know about that. So well, you know what? I have a better idea. So this year, everybody wants to ask questions and have a battle or back and forth or debate. We're not doing that. There's a lot of great questions that people want to ask. So I'm giving industry the opportunity to do that. So we have, which I like to call the Badger Steve Badger panel, right? So it's going to be real contractors on that panel asking questions that everybody really wants to understand and know. Yeah,
I love that. I've had numerous conversations with Steve, and as much as he is thrown out as Darth Vader and all the things that that he's labeled with, when you actually sit down and have a conversation with him, he is defending the people that we fight with every day. But he's doing his job and he can actually be a reasonable human if you sit down and talk with him.
Yeah. And he's got some really good points.
He does. He does. And I don't agree with everything he says.
Nobody's going to agree with everything.
I don't agree with everything he's right? And I'm sure that he does not agree with everything I say.
Exactly.
But there's something that can be learned, something that we talk about on this show a lot, because I'm sure that you've watched, 90% of the episodes is empathy. And having the ability to have empathy, which is literally just understanding somebody else's point of view and being open to understanding it and at least like absorbing it and listening to it. You don't have to agree with it, but you can take the time to understand somebody else's point of view. Right. I think there's no better example of that than all the COVID bullshit. Right. It's the same thing. Like all these people are fucking, like wacky with some COVID shit. that I don't necessarily agree with, right? And I might think that you're fucking bonkers, but I'm still going to sit there because there might be a reason why you have the opinions that you have, right? And I'd like to learn. I'd like to learn a little bit about you. And if we have that open conversation and dialogue and empathy, and one of the things that I will give Steve credit for is that he has a buzzword, and I believe that he believes it, but the buzzword is dialogue. And the more dialogue that we have in this industry, the more problems that we can solve. So if we use this opportunity that you put together to have these people on stage and to ask these questions, and if we do it in the proper manner and we ask the proper questions and we have the proper dialogue, maybe we can solve some problems. Right.
Exactly.
And I think that should be the point. That should be the point of what we're trying to do. So everybody that's watching.
Yeah. Come in with an open mind, right? Let's look from the outside looking in, let's look at both points and really understand it. Right.
Yeah. At least understand it. Again, you might not budge me on my opinion.
Yeah. You may not agree with it, but let's try to have an understanding of where these people are coming from each side.
Yeah, and maybe we can learn something, and maybe it'll give you a little bit of insight on how you can run your business a little bit differently, so that you can capitalize on doing things the right way. And so I'm excited for that as well. That's going to be a really cool panel. I'm glad you brought that up, and you've got really good moderators. And is Steve Patrick still moderating it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, it would have been awkward if you said no. So and Paul's going to be there. That's great. So I mean that's going to be a really cool panel. I'm really excited about that. Look at Lexi finding stuff and throwing it up on the screen like like we are professional.
Well, another one too is the day before is I'm really big on education and knowing your craft. Like everybody should know your craft if you're going to do it. I mean, if you're going to be in sales, you should probably kind of understand how you put a roof on, right?
Yep.
I am bringing a gentleman, and you're not going to see this at any other conference. Well, until I get copied, right? But I'm bringing in a gentleman the first day, and he's going to be talking about reinsurance. And I can tell you the majority of contractors have really little clue about how insurance actually works. And how insurance companies really have insurance. And he's going to break it down and show you what it is. And I'm going to tell you, the audience is going to be shocked.
That's awesome.
It's going to open a lot of eyes, and they might have some better questions for Steve Badger the next day.
Yeah, love that. So that's on the first day of speakers then, right? Yeah, awesome. So don't miss that. Okay, so how to get tickets. So there's two ways to get tickets. One is to go on the link that Lexi just put up on the top. Yep. I personally would prefer that you reach out to me and ask me for tickets, because if I get tickets for you, then 100% of the proceeds go to Roofers in Recovery. So April does want to make money, so some of you should buy tickets up top, but a lot of you want to be able to support Roofers in Recovery. So please call me as well to get some tickets so that we can raise some money for Roofers in Recovery. And I'm going to give a selfish plug as well, because Roofers in Recovery will have a booth at SRC. And so I don't know if you knew this or not, April, but last year at SRC was when we first rolled out our National Roofers in Recovery Day. Yes, and that was when we literally started taking people's information for them to commit to being part of National Roofers in Recovery Day. So this year is going to also be our kickoff at SRC to start asking people to sign up to be part of National Roofers in Recovery Day, which is going to be June 2nd this year, where we're going to ask people to build a roof all on the same day, document it, send us all the content, reach out to your local TV stations, radio stations, things like that. Let them know what you're doing. Let your customers know what you're doing, and that you're going to build their roof, and you're going to donate the profit of that roof. You're going to pay your subs, pay your suppliers, and then you're going to donate the profit of that roof to Roofers in Recovery to help save somebody's life and put a family back together. And if we can get 150 contractors this year to participate, we can reach our goal of sending up to 50 people to treatment this year, which is what our goal has been, is to raise enough funds to be able to do that. So I appreciate you supporting that. getting that out in the open. I will probably do what I did last year and sneak it in while I'm on stage just to make sure I remind everybody,
I'm fine with that.
because I'm an asshole and I just do that. If I got a mic, I'm gonna talk.
It's for a good cause. Do it. You want my permission? Go up there and do it.
Awesome. Good. You heard it here, folks. I've got permission. So
are you going to get on with Paul and talk about the tickets, the so many tickets you guys have?
Yes. So so we're going to be doing that this week. So we're going to do a couple of lives this week up until, the show starts. I'm actually going to be with Paul tomorrow. We're going on a deal with Beacon. So we're going to start filming content for that. But so anybody that wants tickets, get a hold of me or Paul and we can get you hooked up. And then 100% of those proceeds, thanks to April, are going to go to Roofers in Recovery. And that's a really, really, really big deal, people. So I really appreciate that, and it means a lot. So maybe buy one for me and then buy one from the little fucking thing that's up on the top of the screen right there.
Yeah, you'll have so many tickets, and 100% of those proceeds are going to go directly to Roofers and Recovery.
Yeah. So I really, really appreciate that. That's going to be a big day, and Roofers in Recovery appreciates it.
And hopefully we can send lots of people this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Exceed your goal, hopefully, right?
Oh, and and I will close with this. I'm putting my money on Roofer Girl winning the shingle competition. I love you, Paul, but I feel like, he's got to defend his title. But I got a feeling she's going to come in and kick everybody's ass.
Yeah, and she's bringing one of her Summit sisters. She's going to be competing as well.
Oh, really?
All the way from Canada. They're going to be competing in the GAF Nail It contest from the main stage.
So I do got to ask a question, though. Mm-hmm. Are they using the battery-powered guns again?
I don't believe so. I think they're using regular nail guns.
Thank Christ. Okay, because I know that threw everybody off.
Stuff. So Sam Struthers actually came in and rescued the day.
Oh, did he? Okay, because
I had to do that. Yeah.
Because if it was going to be the battery, everybody needs to go out and practice with a battery-powered gun, because that is a different game when you're running a battery-powered gun than when you're running a pneumatic, air compressor gun. So
yeah, they're going to be bringing the air compressors in, and I believe it's I don't know what shingles they're doing. Probably. I think it's HEZ's shingles has a bigger nail surface.
Nail strip. Yep.
How can you miss with that?
How can you miss that? How can you miss on that big ass nailing strip? Right. Awesome. Hey, April, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for putting this together. Thanks for bringing people together, and bringing people that actually do care about the industry and want to make it better. So I'm honored to call you a friend. I appreciate all your support that you've given us. And we obviously just want to give that same support back to you. So anything that we can do to help with either Roofers in Recovery or Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out, we're here to do it. And I'm telling the public now, April also agreed months ago that she is going to do a real podcast interview with me down the road after we're done with SRC, and then we're going to get into some nitty gritty shit. Yep. That'll be really fucking fun.
It's going to be good.
That you're not going to want to miss, because I can't literally piss any more people off. So this is going to be perfect. And I'm super excited about it. So thank you for that commitment. Even if you wanted to back out, now you can't.
I won't back out. I'm not scared.
I know you won't. I know you won't.
Well, I appreciate you, Eric, and we'll see you soon at SRC. So make sure to hit Eric up. I'm giving them so many tickets. 100% of the proceeds go to Roofers and Recovery.
Thank you, April. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Yo. Season 2. We tapped in. Let's go. This interview's finished. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. This here interview's finished. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic.